Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a little bit different, and it's actually inspired from my Instagram stories this week. So if you're not following me on Instagram, you're obviously missing out. So make sure you hop over there and follow me. It's just Dean04JL. But anyways, I was posting as part of my Instant Pot 101 series that I have going on right now, and I had so many comments saying, your skin looks great. What's your skincare routine? What products do you use? How did you get that makeup look? What makeup products are you using? Give me a makeup tutorial. Like, it was just a lot. So I figured, okay, I'll go ahead and give you guys what you want. And so today I'm just gonna sit down and show you how I get this look. It's really actually simple. It's my go-to look right now. I wear it when I'm filming, I wear it when I leave the house. So it doesn't take a lot of time, and it's actually not a lot of product. So I'll go ahead and show you guys how I got this look. Okay, so the setup is a little weird. I'm in my living room. This was like the best lighting that I could give you guys. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start by, I have a bare face. I have washed and moisturized and done my whole like skincare routine. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use some hair clips to clip my hair out of my face. I do have a little mirror here to kind of help me that I stole from my 10-year-old. So okay, I'm gonna go ahead and start by, I always prime my face. I am naturally really oily, so I always have to prime. So I'm using the Cover FX blurring primer. Anything that is for pores and blurring, your girl's got it. So I'm gonna go ahead and use that. So the next step that I typically do is I like to set my primer. Like I said, I'm really oily, so I just take a loose powder and I will set my face very lightly. It just helps to keep me matte throughout the day and make sure that everything is going to go on nice and smooth. So I'm just using, what is this? This is the Ciate London Everyday Vacay Coconut Powder, and like I said, I'm just going to use a light layer, nothing too crazy, because I don't want to look cakey or anything, but just a light layer to kind of set my primer. If you are dry, like I said, you probably don't want to do this, but for me, this works out the best. And can we all just agree to like ignore any weird faces I make during this, because that'd be great. And then next what I do is I usually move on to my brows, because I like to let that powder kind of soak into my skin and let that primer set. So I will move on to my brows, and normally I use the Brow Wiz from ABH, but due to Corona, I have not been able to go get a new one, and I don't typically buy makeup online because I'm afraid it's going to break during the shipping process. So I found this Maybelline Brow Ultra Slim at Walmart, and so I've been using that for a couple of weeks now, and it's okay. It's not my favorite, but that's what I've been using. So I'm gonna go ahead and do my brows. Okay, so I actually lost my brow footage, but as you can see, I have brows now, whereas before I did not. So the next step I do is I always prime my eyes, and I just use the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion. I like the one that has like a concealer look to it, so it actually conceals all the blood vessels in my eyes. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pop this on, and then I typically will just use my finger to blend it out, and then I will set it with that same powder that I used to set my face. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll just blend it out, like I said, with my finger. And then I'll set it. Okay, so I have it all blended out, and now I am just taking that same powder, like I said, and I'm just pushing that in to that primer to set it. This will help, obviously, all the eyeshadow to stay on longer, but it's also going to take away that stickiness from the primer so that my eyeshadow will go on a lot smoother and won't skip and catch. So I always do that. I don't do a heavy coat, I do a light coat. I know it looks like I'm putting on a lot, but I'm only picking up like remnants of the powder that's in the cap of the powder. So now I can move on to my eyeshadow. Okay, so now that I have my eyes set, I'm gonna go ahead and do my eyeshadow. I like to do my eyeshadow before my foundation. That way if there's any fallout, I can just kind of wipe it away and I don't ruin my foundation. So the palette that I've been using for this look, and honestly most of my looks, is the Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette. I love this palette, looks like this. But yeah, it's my like go-to palette for everything. I love it. So this is what I'm gonna use. And got my brushes here. So what I start off by doing is I take the shade right here, which is Buns, I think. Yeah, the shade Buns, and I just take it on a small little tapered blending brush, and I put that right in my crease. As you can see, I kind of concentrate all of my color on the outer part of my eye. So I'll start there and I'll drag it in and then do the inner corner. But I really put most of the pigment from the shadow on the outer corner and I drag it in on both eyes. So, and like I said, I'm really creating a really harsh line and just putting that right in my crease. So almost like you almost can't see it. You can see the top of it when I just relax my eyes. But that's where that color goes. And then what I do is I just take a bigger, fluffier blending brush and I go into this shade right here, which is, what is that? Silk Cream. So I'll go into Silk Cream and I'll use that and I'll kind of blend the top of that up towards my brow with Silk Cream. Okay, so like I said, I just take that brush and that shade Silk Cream and I just start on the outer corner, and as you saw, I was just basically blending it up towards my brow bone, and all it's gonna do is just diffuse the shade Buns that we had there. So after I've done that, I go in with just a small shader brush. I don't know if you can see, just a small little shader brush, and I go into the shade Central Park, which is this dark brown right here, and I just pack that on to the outer corner of my eye. I don't blend, I literally just pack it on. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Okay, so I hope you guys could tell, but basically what I'm doing is I'm placing the color down by my lash line and I'm bouncing up and down. Like I said, I'm not blending. I'm just pushing that color onto my eyelid, and then I stop when I get up to my crease. So hopefully you guys can see this. I know this is like not the best setup. I'm not a real YouTuber. So yeah, I'm just placing that on there. And I know it looks a little crazy right now, but it'll all come together, promise. So just making sure, and I'm stopping like right when I get to the color part of my eye. I'm stopping and I'm not going in any further. So just that outer third of my eye. Okay, so once I have that placed, I'm gonna go in with my finger, so the tool God gave me, and I'm gonna go into the shade Obsessed right here. I am obsessed. This is probably one of my favorite shades in the whole palette. So I'm just gonna put it on my finger, And then I'm just going to swipe it and push it and press it into my lid. And I'm gonna put that all the way from the inner corner, and I'm gonna stop right before I hit that dark brown color. So I'm just gonna press it in and stop right before I hit it. I'm gonna do that on both eyes. Okay, so once that shade Obsessed is on, I just go in with that same brush that I used for Central Park. I don't have any extra product on it or anything like that. And I just press it where those two shades, Obsessed and Central Park, meet. And again, I don't have any extra product on it, and it just kind of blends those two shades together. So I'm doing that. And then once I feel like I have it blended pretty well, I'll go in with that same brush that we used for the shade Buns, and I'll just kind of go over the crease really lightly. Again, no extra product, and I just blend that crease a little bit too, and it just helps that Central Park shade to diffuse a little bit so it's not so harsh on that outer corner. Okay, and then once that's done, I'm just gonna go in with a little shader brush, and I'm gonna go into the first shade of the palette, which is right here. It is called In Light. So I'm gonna go ahead and go in with that, and I'm going to lightly put it on my brow bone. So I'm gonna start right underneath the top, the high point of my brow bone. And I'm just gonna blend it. And this shade is super, super pigmented, so you really only need a little bit, and you really need to make sure you blend. Otherwise you're gonna have a really harsh line. So I place it and then I blend it with this brush. I'm blending it both sideways, and then I'm also blending it up and down. Okay, and then the next thing that I do is I just go back in with that big blending brush that we used for the shade Silk Cream, and I just kind of blend my entire upper eyelid, just to make sure that there's no harsh lines anywhere, and that highlight shade blends in with everything else. So I'll just do that, make sure that everything is nice and blended. I don't have any extra product on this brush, it's just blending it out. And then I'll also take that powder brush that we used to set our face, and I'll just go underneath of my eyes and make sure that any eyeshadow fallout is off. Okay, and now I am finally going back to my face, and I'm gonna do my foundation. I will say I have tried so many foundations over the years, being oily and having large pores and having kind of like an uneven skin tone where I'm kind of like red and pink. I have always wanted like a matte finish and full coverage, and that's really, really hard for me. I don't know why, but I just don't typically, my skin doesn't react well with like those thicker matte full coverage foundations. So yeah, I've tried everything from like super high price luxury brands to drugstore brands, and the one that I have found just works phenomenal with my skin, and that I always go back to is actually drugstore, which I'm really glad. I'm glad it wasn't like, you know, the $72 foundation, but it's the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte. I love this. It works great. It doesn't enhance my pores, and it stays all day. Even in the Arizona heat, it stays all day, so I love it. So I'm gonna go ahead and place this on my face, and then I just use a damp beauty blender to blend it out. The next step that I actually do is I take my setting powder, that same Ciate London Everyday Vacay powder, and while my face is still wet from my foundation, I will take that same damp beauty blender and I will put it, so I have the powder in my cap here, I'll take my beauty blender and I will put it in the powder like so, and then I will go around my entire face and set it. And this just ensures that it is not moving. So again, because I'm oily, I do this. If you're dry, you might not want to do this, but this is what works for me. And it also just kind of helps to give like almost like an airbrushed finish, really. Okay, so now I'm just adding some life and color back into my face. I use the Bare Minerals Original foundation in the shade C40, dark C40. So I'm just putting that on my face and kind of like contouring and bronzing all at the same time. I'm not a pro, this is just what works for me. So I'm just doing that real quick. And I do under my cheekbones and up on my forehead. So that's what I'm doing. Okay, so now that I have that done, I also added some to the sides of my nose, just because if I do the outer sides of my face, I always do the sides of my nose too. And then I'm gonna go in with blush. I use the Pretty Vulgar blush in the shade Hush Blush. Clearly, I use it a lot and I love it, so I'm gonna go ahead and apply this. Blush does not seem to stay on me very well, no matter what. So I tend to go a little heavy-handed at first, and then I blend it out with my beauty blender before I set my makeup, but that's why I look a little clown-like right now, because it just doesn't stay on. So I tend to go heavy-handed and then I fix it and blend it out later. Okay, so now my face is done. I'm gonna go back to my eyes to finish this look. And first what I do is I tightline. So I'm just gonna add the Urban Decay Perversion eyeliner. Obviously I'm obsessed and I need another one. I'm going to add that to my upper lash line, and then I'm going to use the NYX Faux Black. This is what I've been loving lately. It's in the shade Blackberry, which is just a deep dark purple. I'm going to use that in my waterline. And then for mascara, I really like a lot of the high-end mascaras. However, can't go get it right now. So my favorite drugstore mascara is definitely L'Oreal, either the L'Oreal Voluminous Carbon Black, which is a great one, or this one I'm using today, the L'Oreal Voluminous Lash Paradise. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply those and I'll be back in a second. Okay, and then the final step, this is optional, but I do this for me. I'm going to add a little bit of shadow on my lower lash line. So I just take a really small definer brush, really thin, and I go into the shade Central Park that we used on the outer corner, and I just lightly press it right underneath of my lashes as tight as I can to my waterline. Again, we're ignoring any weird faces. And I go about 3/4 of the way in. Okay, so once I have that on, I'm going to take that small little blending brush that we used with the shade Buns, and I'm going to use that to go ahead and blend that out. Let's see if I can get this without blocking everything. And then sometimes I like to do it after I add my mascara. Some people will do it before. I like to do it after. That way, if I do have any hits with my mascara, doing that motion with that blending brush will actually blend those away. So if I feel like I need to reapply mascara on my lower lash line afterwards, I will. And next, I'm gonna go ahead and apply my lip. And the combo that I've been loving lately is the Urban Decay lip pencil in the shade Naked 2. And then I just top that off with a Maybelline lipstick from the drugstore in the shade Beige Babe. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply those. Hopefully I don't, yeah. I do not overline my lips, by the way. I just don't. It's not my vibe, not my thing. I don't do it. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and apply the lipstick. I always use my finger to blend it out. Like so. Okay guys, so the last step is I always set my face with a setting spray of some sort. I've said it a million times, I'm oily, so that really helps to make my makeup last all day. But then also all the powders that I put on my face, between the setting powder and the blush and the bronzer, everything like that, it just kind of helps it all to sink into my skin and blend together, melt together, and it looks more like skin and not so cakey. So right now I'm using the Grace & Stella Spray All Day Rose Spray. It's technically not marketed as a setting spray, but any facial spray will work. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and like I drench myself in it, so you'll see in a second. Yeah, I drench myself. Oh, my lighting went away. So yeah, I use this and it smells amazing. By the way, anything rose scented, I'm on it. So that's that. So I totally almost forgot to film an outro for this video, but this is the completed look. Like I said, this is my go-to right now, so if I'm leaving the house or if I'm filming, this is what I'm putting on my face. I feel like it's neutral enough to where I could wear it every day, but at the same time, I don't feel like I have a heavy face of makeup on either. So hopefully I can get this skincare routine up for you guys within the next couple of weeks. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. And like I said, if you're not following me on Instagram, make sure you head over there and follow me, Dean04JL. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.